So, I just wanted to make a quick video about what I'm calling my business plan, my life plan. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to kind of explain some things, um, and like why I do certain things, and just kind of how I see uh, myself in relation to the business world or the church or just to the world. Um, in a lot of these business circles, these online marketing circles, there's a lot of talk about funnels, right? So funnels are a big thing uh, when you are talking about online marketing and lead magnets and things like that. So let's draw a funnel right here. This is a funnel. So there's your funnel. So like at the top of my funnel would be things that I could talk about that I'm interested in. So you're going to have like silly stuff like jokes and sports and maybe like wrestling and maybe like music. Just things that I'm interested in, or like let's say food, or maybe not so much anymore, but fitness, weightlifting, things like that. So these are all things like that I could talk about just with regular people to kind of get people's attention. Maybe see if they might want to be in my ecosystem. So I could talk about how I think Jordan's the greatest, how, the Bulls never had a dominant big man. In the era of the big man, in the era of Robinson and Ewing and Olajuwon and Shaq, the Bulls never even had an all-star center, which I think makes the case even more for Jordan to be the GOAT, because he won 6 championships without even an all-star center in the era of the center, right? That's not something that people typically talk about. I've never heard anyone talk about that. But that's my case for Jordan being the GOAT. I could talk about stuff like that. I could talk about stuff like punk rock and hardcore. I could talk about stuff, like Bad Blood 97, Hell in a Cell, first Hell in a Cell, Undertaker Shawn Michaels being the best match I've ever seen. It's my favorite match. Like, I think it's the best ever. You might not, or you might not care. Anyway, all this stuff, all this silly stuff, the food, the wrestling, the fitness, all this stuff, comedy, stand-up comedy, that all is at the top of this funnel, right? And so you get one level down of the funnel, and that's going to be like my podcast, my ebooks, and courses, and community, school.com/content creators, all the stuff that I'm a little bit more serious about, right? So here's just like interest and kind of silly stuff, fun stuff. You get a level down in my funnel, and that's where I start to teach you stuff that I've learned through life, which hopefully makes your life easier and better and more efficient. And I, teach you who you are in Christ, who He is in you, and how to navigate this thing called life the best that I know how. And so, well, what's a level down from that? To me, the bottom that I always want to filter down to, we always want to funnel down to, is Christ. Right? So like all the stuff at the top and all the stuff in the middle, I'm just filtering down to Christ. That's the thing at the bottom. I don't really care that you know my opinion on who the best professional wrestler is of all time, Bret Hart, or like, the best punk album of 1998, Life Won't Wait by Rancid. None of that stuff really matters that much, but it's just like a thing that I can like throw out to maybe get some attention. And then maybe after I've done that, you kind of get into my ecosystem here. You start listening to my podcast or reading my free ebook. But at the end of the day, this is what it's about. It's about you seeing Christ in me. And it may be, just maybe, if you can see Christ in me, maybe you can see Christ in you. That's the whole point. That's what we're doing. And we might make some money and have some fun in the process, but it's really about this. So that's you to me. Let's talk about me to you. This is where I start. I start here. And then out of that, then I do this stuff. I do podcasts and write books and tell jokes. Have courses and teach people things if they'll listen to me, and talk about sports and music and whatever. But this is my starting point. This is it. This is my dot. Right? It's like every book begins with one chapter. Every chapter begins with one page. Every page begins with one paragraph. Every paragraph begins with one sentence. Every sentence begins with one word. Every word begins with one letter, and every letter begins with one dot as you put pen to paper. Christ is the dot. Christ is the dot. And it all goes out from him. This is where we start. This is where we start. And we might end up at different places. Your thing might be gardening or motherhood. There's all kinds of stuff you could have up here, and really all kinds of stuff you could have here. This is where we start. So whatever you see that I'm making that's up here, the silly stuff, or even the more serious stuff, it all comes from this. So I hope that if you're up here and you're making your way into my ecosystem, I hope you end up here. And I hope you see this. When you see me, you see this. That's what I'm doing. So like I said, maybe that'll result in income coming into my household. I'm not opposed to it, certainly. My family's coming in. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching.